Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Cast your mind back to around 2006 or so. Go back. You're Scotty. A young Scotty of about 20 years old walks into a family video. He starts to peruse the aisles, going, of course, to the horror section to look around, because family video had a lot of very independent direct-to-video horrors, and some were pretty good. It's how I found All Hallows Eve. And without All Hallows Eve, there'd be no Art the Clown. So, yeah. Actually, I think we found it at Walmart, but whatever. That was another place for direct-to-video horrors, Walmart. Anyway, still is. Perusing the horror section, and you come across the DVD that says, "Oh, where the hell is it? Where did... No. Ow. How? Where? Who? Huh? Why are you there?" You come across the DVD that says, "I'll always know you did what you did." You come across the DVD that says, "I'll always know what you did last summer." You go, this is interesting. I'll check that out. Even though you recognize barely anyone on the cover till you put it in. Yeah. So you go home, pop it in a DVD player, and you watch it all the way through. You get done, and you say, "What in the hell was that?" Yes. The way they went with this film is interesting, to be sure, but I never got it. I still don't understand it completely. After the second one came out, it got negative reviews, so the planned sequel to that kind of kept getting pushed, and eventually the sequel that was supposed to have Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr., and Brandy coming back kind of just went bye-bye. Instead, Sony, I guess to keep the rights, I don't know, decided to release this direct-to-video. Whoever wrote the script must have thought they were being very clever with how they were going to do the twist. You know? And I have a feeling I might be... I don't know. Why not make it like an original thing? Like, do a thing, whatever. There are many red herrings in this. And every single one of them is wrong because of the angle they went in. Like, you think it's the sheriff. Wrong. You think it could be Roger. Wrong. You think it could be Ben Easter's character. Wrong. That's the deputy. Wrong. All the red herrings presented are wrong because at the end of the day, it's not a red herring film. It's not a whodunit. It's presented to you black and white from the very beginning. But you are so against that idea because you know how this franchise works. And I'm just not realizing, what is it with Sony? This makes 2, maybe 3, but horror franchises where they went, let's take something and change it completely, right? So you have Urban Legend. The first 2 are slasher films. Urban Legend's Bloody Mary, supernatural horror. Same thing with these. Both are slashers. Third one's a supernatural horror. Then you have Boogeyman. Boogeyman goes supernatural, sort of a slasher with supernatural elements, and then back to supernatural again. I don't know. But, yeah. And what's more confusing, when you start watching this, the movie takes place in Colorado. It's landlocked. There's no fishing there. forget the Fisherman Killer is there because they throw out a legend, they pull it out of their ass, and they make it real. I guess that technically, if you're a fan of Supernatural and the weird, I guess that Ben Willis in this movie, yes, it is Ben Willis, is a tulpa, which is a creature that is brought to life when enough people believe about it. So I guess the urban legend was enough for people to believe enough, which, yes, that means Boogeyman 3, the Boogeyman is technically a tulpa in that one, but that's always confusing anyway. Yeah. In Colorado, our main character is Rachel from Animorphs, and her boyfriend, Spaghetti Guy from Final Destination 2, are there with their friends, ex-girlfriend from Vampire Diaries Guy, and a few others. And then they're at this carnival for the 4th of July. Kept that one in there. And they're talking to Ben Easter from Xenon Z3. I don't remember any names. Well, I remember one. Colby. Like the cheese. The cheese should be embarrassed. Anyway, they're all talking. They're on this ride and they're talking about the legend of the Hookman. If you have a secret that something bad happened or someone dies or something, that the fisherman's gonna come look for you, which is, I don't know. They do admit later they made it up, but, you know. Oh, I remembered ex-girlfriend of Vampire Diaries guy's name. Zoe. Her name is Zoe. Yeah. Don't remember the other ones, but yeah. So they tell a story and they talk to Ben Easter from Xenon Z3. And then skater dude guy named PJ shows up and they're cousins. And he has enrolled in the ROTC. He's like, yeah, my uncle wanted me to do it, and your next little cousin, who is definitely played by an actor who's older than me. He looks 30, and PJ looks like he's 20. Maybe it's because Ben Easter from Xenon Z3 has a facial hair. I don't know. This was after Xenon Z3, by the way. This is 2 years later, 2006. Yeah. Well, then the fisherman shows up. And he starts going after them, but to escape, PJ does a cool skater trick, and it's then revealed that the fisherman is actually their friend Roger, who has never been in anything, so I don't know who he is. So yeah, but it turns out somebody moved the mattresses that were supposed to be there and put in farming equipment. Because having someone there to make sure it worked was just too much. They didn't have one more person they could sit there and make sure that it worked. Right? We found out later that PJ told his cousin about it. So I didn't say, hey, I told my cousin he could stand there. Like, they needed to have someone there to make sure that the mattresses were still there. But no, PJ dies and they decide, much like the first one, a lot of this is remaking the first one, by the way. It's more of a remake than anything. We take it to our graves. Say it! We take it to our graves. And so they do. And then, much like the original, again, we're remaking it. 1 year later happens. And guess what? No one's friends anymore. And the boyfriend and girlfriend broke up. And Rachel from Animorphs has arrived. You wonder why I'm not doing the Boy Meets World gag. I'm not talking about that Rachel. Rachel! I'm okay. I guess that one worked. Anyway. So, Rachel from Animorphs comes back to town. And she, goes to this party. Finds out that Spaghetti Dude is there. And she's all, you said you were good. He's supposed to be Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character, But this is very much like the Helen stuff, right? Well, you said you were going to New York. You said you were going to go. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Right? Whatever. She's also talking to Ben Easter from Xenon Z3 about stuff, and no one cares. And, yeah. So she goes home and she gets a texted message, because this is 2006, that says, I know what you did last summer. Doesn't say, I always know. It just says, I know what you did last summer. Because to actually say the title of this movie anywhere just doesn't make any sense. So it still just says, I know what you did last summer. Yeah. So she goes to Zoe to talk to her. She's a musician. And I know that this gets a lot of crap. But one of the things I do like, there's a lot of things I don't. One of the things I do like the music that she plays. Oh, tell me, baby. I like it. I find myself tapping to the beat. I like it. So that's two things. Because I like Ben Easter. And I like her music. That's it. And Don Shanks is in the movie and he was Michael Myers. He plays the fisherman in this. So, after they get the notes to try to figure out who it is, they go to see Roger, who is acting very creepy. Again, red herring to the max here. Because he's speaking to the max is right. Because I think this is supposed to, like, they play Ben Easter off like he's supposed to be Max. But really, Roger is Max because he's the first one that's killed. And I say that he's supposed to be Max because he's very, very creepy. And you see later, he shows that he has the hook. So you think, oh, he's supposed to be a hook. But no, he's the red herring, he's Max because he ends up dead. It's a very weird, the editing in this movie sucks. It also looks like somebody wiped their ass with the camera lens and then filmed it very badly. I don't know. I don't know what they tried to record this on, but it looks terrible. That is terrible. Even Charles Barkley said that's terrible. But yeah, and they go to after they finally convince Spaghetti Guy. No, I will not be calling him by his real name, Spaghetti Guy, to go look. And when they get there, they find him dead, and then they find the hook and stuff. Interestingly, the hook is not in the same room with the dead body, but it's in the same room with a note that is supposed to be a suicide note. A note you would find by the suicide, of course. And they're like, oh, he unalived himself. The body's in the other room, and the hook and the note are in here. These guys are stupid. Even when they go to tell the cops like, we don't. And he sees the body in there, this deputy, and is like, he unalived himself, you know. And he's like, oh. He's like, oh, if you need to talk, very much hitting on Rachel from Animorphs, which is creepy because she was just a teenager last year. In fact, she was a junior going to be a senior. They graduated and she didn't. That's what she was saying. They're like, well, you're going to graduate and then I'll join you. It's the whole Helen and Barry thing where they're going to meet each other up and they're going to live. Yeah. There's even a conversation between Zoe and Rachel from Animorphs. Like, what happened to us? I'm just like, that is line for line. I don't know. They're just copying and pasting some of this shit. And then, surprise, Ben Easter from Xenon Z3 shows up and say, hey, he literally says, I know what you did last summer. PJ told me. Like, PJ told me what you guys were going to do. I knew the whole time. And so he thinks that spaghetti guy is messing with his bike, but it turns out no, there's something else. Yeah. So they decide they gotta tell the deputy, but when they go there, of course, the sheriff is at the house. He's on like a barbecue or some shit, and they can't tell him. But they say that, oh, they never caught the guy. He could still be out there. We're just getting a little worried, and like this is like leading into the days until then. So they all decide, rightfully so, to do the smart thing. Let's leave. Though once you've watched this movie, not that you'd watch more than once, unless you like me. This is like my 5th time watching this damn movie. I don't know. I watched it when it first came out, and when I got the movies, I watched them all 3 of them back to back. And then I'm sure I watched it with my son. I watched it when I did my original reviews, and then now 5. So anyway, so they're ready to leave, but then Zoe shows up and is like, I can't go. I got a music thing. I have to go to the music thing. It's my future. And Nita's like, this is the Helen thing. She has to do this thing. So they have to go watch and make sure, make sure everything's alright. And of course she dies. Because of course she does. And then it all just kind of goes down. Colby dies. And like, when you're watching this, alright, and they get these notes. Colby's I know what you did last summer note appears in a water message on concrete as he's sitting at a lifeguard station. And you're watching this wondering, like, you're watching this and you're trying to put your head in these characters' head, and you're like, and they're still blaming it could be Havner, it could be the sheriff. They really think it's the sheriff, which means it's not. So you're just like, okay, say it's one of those two. How the hell they do that? How? Just how? But no, she dies, and then eventually Spaghetti Man dies, and we're down to the last 2. But Havner finds them and believes they're the killer because they're covered in blood. And when he tries to put him in there, Zoe's body isn't in his car. Zoe's body in there, and I think it's him. Okay, we know it's the zombie ghost of Ben Willis. Why would he try to frame Havner? It makes no sense. But he shows up, kills Havner, and then they try to fight him. They realize, hey, the hook that can hurt him. So let's never actually use that and throw his ass into a wood chipper. This I've never gotten. They establish this hook can hurt him. And they're just like, throw his ass in a wood chipper. Why? Why make such a storyline reason as the hook is the only thing that can kill him if you're just going to throw his ass in the wood chipper? It makes no sense. And I'm sideways again. It makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. It'd be like if they made Ray the killer. That would make no sense. So, yeah, it just makes no sense. Like, why establish that the hook can kill him and then not use that to kill him? I don't know, but he goes to the wood chipper. They're somehow not found guilty of murder, even though there are bodies all around them and no proof anyone else ever did it, but they're fine. And it's implied they're together. We flash to 1 year later. And, yeah, we do this thing for a sequel we're never going to get, where she's on the road, she gets a flat tire, and the fisherman comes up behind him. Yeah, because you just put him through like, if you're establishing that this is a zombie fisherman ghost type thing, which they literally say, it's him, it's the fisherman from the story. So they're literally saying this is a zombie ghost of Ben Willis. And he's doing all this because now he's attached to he's a tulpa now. That's what I can think, right? So Yeah. And they even, it's in the same universe as the first two, as much as you can believe it or not, because they go through, she shows Ben Easter from Xenon Z3, the news articles from the first two. They talk about the thing in Southport, and then they talk about the thing in the Bahamas later. Yeah, they talk about that. They don't talk about the fate of the said characters afterwards, but yeah. So, yeah, that's it. Crap is what it is. But is it infuriating enough to fry in hell? No. It's just not worth your time. Just watch anything else. Watch paint dry. Better yet, piss on a wall and watch it run down. That's more entertaining than anything in this movie. Like, if you are going through all the movies and you feel like you need to watch them because you're a completionist, you gotta watch this one before you go to the next one, do it. You don't even need to. They mention the events of the first one, but it's not directly connected, and you can even say that this next one probably retcon that one out of existence anyway. So, yeah. It's not worth your time. So, what are your thoughts on I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer? As always, you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.